Hey there, it's Tim Miller with the Bulwark, and Nikki Haley just absolutely imploded upon being asked like a sixth grade social studies question at a town hall in Berlin, New Hampshire this evening. Let's check it out.
Please, what was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry?
I'm not running for president. I wanted to see your view on the cause of the Civil War.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way.
Thank you. And then in the year 2023, it's astonishing to me that you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
You answered my question. Thank you.
Next question.
She acted like that was a hard one. Her first little response there is an uncomfortable joke about, you're not giving me any easy ones. Doesn't get much easier than what caused the Civil War. In case you were wondering, slavery is the cause of the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln said as much. Many of the Confederate states, including Nikki Haley's home state of South Carolina, said as much in their articles of secession. It is not exactly subtle. It is something that a bunch of racists in like the last 100 years have tried to reorient, rejigger, tell a different history to make them feel less bad about their past. I did a wonderful interview here with Clint Smith on the Bulwark that you should listen to. Clint has done just absolutely amazing research going to Civil War cemeteries and going to old plantations and kind of listening to the way that we tell stories about our history and the way that that's changed over time and the way that that's kind of finally starting to change for the better and get back to the truth. But Nikki Haley still has South Carolina brain. She still has Republican primary brain, and she found herself in Yankee country up in New Hampshire. God love New Hampshire. The New Hampshire primary. I know that some on the Democratic side, they're trying to get rid of it because it's too many white people in New Hampshire, and I understand the sentiment. But man, I got to tell you, those town hall meetings in New Hampshire, they reveal the soul of the candidate. They reveal a candidate's strengths, their weaknesses. They reveal what is at their core. And at the core of Nikki Haley, we found today was a person that is so calculating and that is so, all wound up and confused by, what to say in a Republican primary in a party that has become a Trump cult, in a party that rewards racism and bigotry. She's so knotted up in a pretzel trying to figure out how to navigate all that. She can't even answer a sixth grade social studies question. What caused the Civil War? Slavery is what caused the Civil War. And are you ready for this? Are you ready for the cherry on top of this just absolutely botched answer from a person who ostensibly has some momentum, the candidate that ostensibly was going to be the normal mainstream candidate to take on Trump, who can't answer a normal mainstream question? You want to hear the best part about this? She botched this same question 13 years ago. 13 years ago. And when she was running for governor of South Carolina, 2010, got asked this very same question.
What's your belief about the reason the Civil War was fought?
I mean, again, I think that as we look in government, as we watch government, you have different sides. And I think that you see passions on different sides. And I don't think anyone does anything out of hate. I think what they do is they do things out of tradition and out of beliefs of what they believe is right. I think you had one side of the Civil War that was fighting for tradition, and I think you had another side of the Civil War that was fighting for change. At the end of the day, what I think we need to remember is that, Everyone is supposed to have their rights. Everyone's supposed to be free. Everyone's supposed to have the same freedoms as anyone else. So, I think it was tradition versus change is the way I see it.
Tradition versus change on what?
On individual rights and liberty of people.
So there it is. She didn't think anybody did anything out of hate. She didn't think that the slave owners whipping their slaves and treating them as subhuman people did that out of hate. They did that out of tradition. Just tradition. That was it. Now, that tradition wasn't happening a few states to the north. Tradition wasn't happening in Europe, where these slave owners came from. So it was a rather short tradition, really, in the grand sweep of time. But that was how Nikki Haley saw it. And I think that 13 years later, she still hasn't come up with a better answer. And the reason is that whether she's right or not, she thinks in her heart of hearts that she needs votes from racist people. And so she can't figure out how to answer these questions all the time. And she has been warped by the South Carolina Lost Cause brain and by going to, various patriot groups and, hearing their nonsense reconstruction of history. And rather than just answering this question, nobody would even be talking about this. Nobody would even be talking about this. It's not like there would be outrage on Confederate blogs had she just said slavery. I don't even know what the other questions she was asked at this town hall was. These candidates go to lots of town halls in New Hampshire. They go to lots of town halls in these other states. They get asked lots of questions. And the answers that go running around the internet are the ones like this. When you can't answer basic questions, when you're obviously pandering, when you're pandering in an embarrassing way and in a way that gives cover to people that are trying to excuse racism, excuse the darkest parts of our history. So Nikki Haley, quasi-normal candidate, the supposed normal candidate, gets exposed by New Hampshire once again. The New Hampshire voters, undefeated. You keep doing you, New Hampshire. Nikki Haley, maybe between now and the Iowa caucus, you can learn something that a middle schooler knows about our history. We'll be back with more. We're giving you content here on Christmas week. Other pages are taking a break, not at the Bulwark. We had a new next level with our 2024 predictions. You can get that right here on the feed. Make sure you are subscribed. Give us a little thumbs up down there, and we'll be back for more later this week. Peace. Hey, everybody. We're gearing up for 2024. And if you want to join us and help save democracy, become a Bulwark Plus member. If you like these videos, we've got a ton more content where that comes from. We've got podcasts. We have newsletters. A lot of it is for free, but we keep some stuff behind the paywall for people that are really into our content and just can't get enough. Or if you just want to support us, because we're trying to help get this out in the ether. Many of us are former Republicans. We're trying to convince former Republicans and get former Republicans to come to the light, recognize the threat of MAGA. And so please, we would appreciate it if you could jump on board and become a Bulwark Plus member. We'll see you soon.